All righty. What is going on, everybody? Grand Rising. Happy Hump Day. It is Wednesday, 2 minutes before 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I am Conscious Moron. I appreciate the pull up. Hey, love. Hey, loves. Hey, how you doing this morning? I hope all is well with you. Josh, what's going on, man? Good Grand Rising to you, man. I hope everything is all right. I hope I hope it ain't too cold where you at, but if it's cold, I hope you're warm enough. It's good to see you, man. Good to see everybody. It is Wednesday, like I said. It is what's today's date? What's today's date? It is the 23rd of Wednesday. I mean, it's the 23rd of November. I'm sorry, Wednesday, 2022. Um, I'm just chilling. Early morning session, of course. I am on vacation back home, chilling with my folks. It has been a great vacation. Uh, Chilling, got to see friends and family. Still got some more folks to see, but luckily I have a little bit more time left, so I'm gonna try and get all that in. I had a couple people on my panel. We talked, my nephew and my brother, of course. That was golden for me. Y'all know how much I appreciated that talk from them. So thank you guys for coming um, to the show. Hopefully they'll be listening to the replay, or they might be in the chat. Not too bad. Good. Glad to hear that. Glad to hear that, Josh. Glad to hear that. Love Z. I hope you staying warm too. Um, but I seen this story a couple of days ago about this. Hey, Grand Rising Popcornologist, how you doing? Oh, you know what? I'm a post this popcorn spot we go to up here. It's called Copper Popper. I'm gonna get some popcorn. I'm so glad you popped up on me. Literally. I'm glad you popped up on me this morning. Literally. It's called Copper Popper. And they got this mix that I love, man, growing up. It was caramel, cheddar, and jalapeno. I think sour cream too. I think sometimes. What you mean, Shane? I mean, you still got me though. You still got me, right? This childhood stuff. This child back home. You can't come on now. Just can't do that to me. I'm back home, and it reminds me of home. Uh, but I appreciate the pull up, and please, guys, like it says, scrolling down, if you want to drop the channel, or if you see somebody with a blue check and you got a blue check, you can always go to their channel and follow them. Everybody doing short, so just go to the short, post a comment, and then start rocking with them. Hopefully we can all get some of this YouTube money. But it's funny. I had seen the story that we about to talk about for a hot second. Oh, you making popcorn live last night? I wonder why I didn't get the notification, man. That's crazy. You know what? Could you drop the link in the chat? You know what I'm saying? Please, so we can all see you make some popcorn. Yes, please, people, just drop your channel in the chat if you want to. Like I said, anytime around here is all good. But I was watching this story, or I heard about this story about Google having to pay a settlement of 300. I think it's like $391 million for tracking people's location. What's going on, She? How you doing, man? Appreciate the pull up as always. Grand rising to you. I hope you staying warm. Is it starting to warm up down there? Man, it's just before I left. It was frigid. It's been frigid up here. Um, I want to say the first and second day I got here was like 18 degrees. AI, what's going on, AI? Appreciate the pull up. Appreciate the pull up. AI, we got a new one there. We got AI. Let's see what. Let's go to your channel real quick, AI. See what you. Oh, okay. We sub. We sub. Okay, we sub to AI. I ain't not been getting notifications, man. Appreciate it. Let me bless you with a mod. Please, AI, if you want to, anytime you can drop your channel. Go. I'm glad it's warming up. I'm glad it's warming up. It's supposed to warm up here a little bit. But like I said, appreciate y'all pulling up, man. And I guess keep reiterating, but it's at the bottom of the screen. If you have a blue check mark, go to someone else's channel and like and subscribe to their channel. You know what I'm saying? So do it seems like a lot of people are doing shorts now, so you can always just do a comment on a short real quick. Just let them know, yo, I'm following you. We here to grow. Maybe that's we here to grow. You know what I'm saying? Something maybe a little tag like that, so we all know we from the same community. But you know something. Just let them know you know you following them and you want them to succeed. I'm sorry, it's early in the morning. I haven't put my brain literally on, but because I have to, I'm on vacation, so I can literally just set it down for a few hours in the morning and not think. That's what I've been doing a little bit too much though. While I'm on vacation this trip, I literally didn't put my brain in yesterday, so to speak. But anywho, that's why we're doing this story because I got to keep sharp while I'm on vacation because vacation is only for a hot second. But no, hold on, let me see. But I was on YouTube and I had seen this story through Newsmax, but I can't seem to. It was yesterday. And yes, yes, we here. Okay, okay. She got the we here. So that's she's anthem. We here. See, I see. She's smart dude, man. She the smart dude. Please go and check out his channel, man. Great content. It, he always tells you about getting money, what you should do with that money, how to invest it, so to speak, how to get your side hustle on. So please go and check out Sheet, man. He's a real good brother and he wants people to come up. So we definitely want Sheet to come up as well. You dig? Over here, even though we may talk a little mess, but we still want everybody to come up because this, just another hustle to come up, right? So let's all try and come up in the new year. The new year's upon us. You know what I'm saying? I guess being home, I've been reflecting, like especially like seeing my nephews' children grow. Like, so I'm a great uncle. It's crazy to say I'm a great uncle to see how they're growing up. Like, man, you know what I'm saying? I just want them to succeed. Like, you know what I'm saying? We should all want people to succeed, man. What's going on, Brian? Appreciate the pull up. We should all want people to succeed, man. As long as they don't got some evilly catastrophically plan to destroy people. You know what I mean? But we should all want, as long as people ain't hurt nobody, I want everybody to succeed. You ain't knocking nobody's hustle, nothing like that. Much success to you. Even though I might talk my smack, I still want you to get success. All right. Okay, okay, everybody subbing up. That's what's up. That's I ain't know. We just saying we trying to grow for the new year. We trying to all get this money. We trying to grow and all get this money. But let me pop up this story real quick. My sister is upstairs, so she might come down. You might hear her. Please, she she's kind of, I won't say kind of like she is my sister, but since our mother passed away, she's kind of took on the mom role. But I'm a grown ass man, dog. But no, I appreciate that so much, because even with our mother being gone, it's still nice to have somebody who cares for you. And, and I want to say the one good thing is that it kind of brought our relationship closer. We were much more closer since the passing of my mom. I guess she felt she had to take care of her baby brother. So I appreciate the it's love, but it's I won't say a hard love, but it's a rigorous a rigorous love. But she just want me to be the best that I can be, so I appreciate her. Hold on, let's get to this story real quick. Let's see. Here we go. No, nope, wrong channel. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That is the wrong one. Is everybody getting ready for Thanksgiving? Oh man, you right on time, executive sessions. All right, you be good. Hey, I appreciate the pull up, man. Um, Everybody getting ready for Thanksgiving. I hope though, got your turkeys all ready to go. I think we're gonna fry some turkeys. You know what I'm saying? But luckily, I ain't really gotta cook too much. It's been up in there, They ain't really been on me too much about cooking. Everybody done set it up. You know what I mean? It's kind of good not to have to cook. But I think eventually I'm gonna have to cook something. I'm gonna have to cook something. That's a crazy part, but it's no problem. It's no problem. It's no problem. Let me share this. Share this. There we go. Let me share. There we go. There we go. Can you guys see that one? Now this happened November 14th. Apple bid Google will pay 3.9 million to settle allegations by 40 states that the search and advertising giant illegally tracked users' location, the Michigan Attorney General office said Monday. The investigation and settlement, which was led by Oregon and Nebraska, is a sign of a mounting legal headaches for the tech giant from states' attorney generals who have aggressively targeted the firms using tracking prices in recent months. In addition to the payment, Google must be more transparent with the consumers about when location tracking is occurring and giving users detailed information about tracking location data on specific web pages, the Iowa Attorney General's office said. When consumers make the decision to not share location data on their devices, they should be able to trust that the company will no longer track their every move, Iowa Attorney General Tom Miller said in a statement. This settlement makes it clear that the companies must be transparent in how they track customers and abide by state and federal privacy laws. Google spokesman Jose Castiantenda, something like that, excuse me, consistent with improvement we've made in recent years, we have settled this investigation, which was based on outdated product policies that we changed years ago. Google said in a blog post on Monday that it would be making updates in the coming months to provide even greater controls and transparency over location data. The changes includes making it easier to detect location data. New users will have auto deleted controls that allow them to order Google to delete certain information when it hits a certain age. The state attorney opened a probe in 2018 following a report that Google recorded location data even when users instructed it not to do. The probe found that Google had misled consumers about location tracking tracking practices since at least 2014 in violation of state consumer protection laws. Arizona filed a similar case against Google and settled it for $85 million dollars in October 2022. Texas, Indiana, Washington State, and the District of Columbia sued Google in January over what they called deceptive location tracking practices that invaded users' privacy. That's kind of wild. Like Google has a revenue of 111 million, 11 billion from advertising in the first half of this year, more than any other seller of online ads. A consumer locations is key to helping an advertiser cut through the digital clutter to make the ad more relevant and engage the consumer's attention. Excuse me, y'all. Sorry. I gotta put my brain on. Let me. All right. Oh, dang, I ain't even got the thing up, man. I ain't even got the. I'm sorry, but it basically is saying that since Google's can track your location unbeknownst to you, they can make more money by giving the advertisers better information on where you're at, what you're doing. Say you go to Home Depot and you're looking for a tool, and then those ads just automatically start appearing on your computer or your Facebook or your social media. That's what this settlement was all about, and I'm sure that's happened to all of us. You know, maybe I should drop the link, see if anybody want to come up. Sorry, hold on a second. Let me copy the link. But it basically was saying that. So that's very interesting. Like, and should we be suing Google? Should we be suing? Should we be suing Google because of that? I cannot get it together this morning. I'm really on vacation. I'm sorry, y'all. Should we be suing Google? Should we be suing? Shibby. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Let me drop the link in the chat. crazy. Doing it again. Hold on, man. It won't. I'm sorry, y'all. My computer been tripping ever since I got up here for some odd reason. But yeah, I mean, and it's so they man, $111 billion the first half of this year Google made off of advertising. Now, of course, if I'm sure some people in the chat who are familiar with one of my well, I don't say competitors, but someone who a contrary to me. We always talk about Google owing us money, and of course, he has an outrageous number. But anywho, he might be a little bit right on this. Hmm. So they basically were lying about using tracking locations, like I said, to sell to advertisers. And this is the thing: why didn't any of us get it? Why are the states getting that? Let me see if this go. Copy paste. Why ain't it copying and pasting? Let's see one more time. It really isn't copying and pasting. Hold on, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm trying to copy and paste this chat room, but it won't let me do it. Let's try this. So what y'all think about that? Y'all think we should be getting paid off of that? Cause I mean, man, and how did the states get paid before the people? Because the states ain't really getting. I mean, I guess they violate the state's law. So, but it seemed like people should be getting paid off of that. You know what I mean? Okay, let's try this one more time. I know I ain't tripping, but it will not let me. I'm tripping. I am really tripping. Is my brain not working? I'm trying to drop the. That's hey, gee, that's is literally what I'm trying to do, man. It won't let me. Hold on, let me try one more time. Let's see if this works. There we go. There it go. Sorry, y'all. My apologies, man. My apologies. My brain is not. It would not. I had to, But come on up. Yeah, anybody and everybody's welcome to come on up. We just talking about this. Like I said, they basically were tracking us. They were using it through, from what I was looking at, like your web activity instead of your like literally. Even once you turn off the tracking location, like whatever you were doing on the web, they would track your location through there. Like say you hopped on Google. Might need some. You definitely. I definitely need. I don't drink coffee though, so no coffee, no coffee. But I appreciate the pull up, and we got like 4 people in the building. Thank y'all for coming. I know my brain is a little slow this morning, but we gonna get it together. You know what? I need to kind of start talking to people more, because usually I be talking to people. I'm at work, so by now I done been and talked to like 30, 40 people. So my brain, I gotta be going. So it's like last couple of days, everybody been at work, so I ain't had to talk to nobody. I want to. I just been chilling in the month. In the month. Let me hold on. Been a monk mentality, rather. And I had another story. Let me see where it's at. Oh, there it go right there. Switch to this real quick. Let y'all hear it. Like, cause she gonna say a little bit better than me. Let me throw my fair use up there real quick before I get whoop-de-whoop. Before I get whoop-de-whoop. Fair use, fair use. Early this morning. Breakfast was on the table. That's what I need. I could go for like a nice little breakfast wrap right about now. All veggies.
Google has reached a record $392 million settlement with 40 states over its location tracking practices. The state of Florida will get about $26 million. The search giant allegedly misled consumers over those practices, and that includes.
Now see, that's what I don't know. How they getting all that money and none of the people are getting the money because the people were actually getting tracked. It wasn't the state. I mean, I know the state filed the lawsuit, but shouldn't like what they gonna do with that money is my question, man. Sorry.
Included confusion around, quote, the scope of the location history setting
Yeah,
and how much consumers could limit the location tracking practices. The state of Florida will get about $26 million settlement.
How much they get? One more time.
With 40 states over its location tracking, a record $392 million settlement with 40 states over its location tracking practices. The state of Florida will get about $26 million. The search giant allegedly misled consumers over those practices, and that included confusion around, quote, the scope of the location history setting and how much consumers could limit the location tracking by adjusting settings.
But this ain't really been major news. Like this ain't really. This is 8 days ago. I ain't really heard nobody talking about it. Like I said, I seen it on Newsmax yesterday or the day before, and they were talking about it.
This
Like
$49 light bulb security camera is just.
But what they basically were saying is that they were tracking your location through other means of use of other apps that you use rather instead of just say when you outright say turn my location off. They were using it like I said through web activity shit like that. But should they be paying us for that? You know what I mean? It seems like they should. It seems like we should get something if it was an illegal practice and they use it to profit off of us. We should get something, but I'm barely just hearing about it. It was like I said, it was filed in 2018. 2018. Let's see what this one said.
Announcing that Virginia and Maryland will be getting a cut of that massive multi-million-dollar settlement with Google over the company's location tracking data.
Our chief legal correspondent, Katie Barlow, joins us live outside of Google's headquarters to explain what all this means. Katie?
Good evening to both of you. Well, all this started after a 2018 AP article said Google was tracking your location information even when you told them not to. Now Google has settled for $392 million with 39 states. And not only will a little over 10 million of that go to Virginians, a little over 8 million go to folks in Maryland, but now Google's going to have to give you more information about when you turn location tracking on or off. They can't hide the ball about location tracking, and they have to give you more detailed information about the type of data that they collect. In a statement, Google said to Fox 5 today that these requirements from the settlement are consistent with improvements that they've already made at Google. This settlement, Google says, was based on outdated product policies that were changed years ago. Now, Virginia Attorney General Jason Miyares said Google violated consumer protection laws by misleading customers about its location.
Hey, you hear me? You muted? Can you hear me? Can anybody hear me? Put a 1 in the chat. Yeah, he probably muted and doing something. But yeah, I was coming up to say, yeah, that's crazy about the money. And the biggest thing is, if the state getting the money, how are they gonna give it to the people? You know. And the question is, do we gotta sue the state in order to get the money? That's the crazy part right there too, that I'm looking at, because with the state being the way it is, they allocate that money to most of the politicians and stuff, and they're gonna try to do some underhand stuff. But seeing as they getting this type of money, they're gonna probably try to throw it at a park. Um, what is it, about $1 million on a park, and they ain't do nothing but spend 5,000 on supplies, 3,000 on the workers, and they say this is $1 million park, all recyclable items or something. They're gonna try to play us. If they take the money and do something for us, I'd rather get my own money in my own hand. You know, if I want to donate to a park, I'm gonna donate to a park. But that's the city's issue right there anyway. They get government funds to get delegated to something like that. So we shouldn't have to pay for no park through that money right there. That's the people's money, because the companies benefited off that money. That's where the advertising came from, all that big money from advertisement. So we should be able to get that money in our pocket versus the government or the states. Because even looking at the abortion law thing, the states got control over that, and a lot of them states that don't want to participate in that abortion law, that they turn with the federal, on the federal side, the states can determine that and say, well, we still gonna have it here. It all depends. So the states, they different on the local level. Yeah, but that's crazy. They getting all that money. I'm like, I wonder if I can go get me a lawsuit and press up on it. I have to have a good certified lawyer, because they'll push it to about 3-4 years. But with these states, they want to do business with them, so that's why they'll go ahead and pay out that money. Even though I think what they're saying too, the policy did change. That was an old issue that they was doing. Whether it was old or new, they still got to pay. That could have happened 5 years ago. They don't have no stipulations on stuff like that, because of all this technology and degree, all this stuff is new. So they don't really have that point of reference to where they can say, we're gonna put stipulation that you can't go back 5 years and try to get this money. Because like I say, this is all new technology. And so, but that's even foul. for them turning, you be able to turn it off, and they turn around and still hit you. Oh man, he done dropped off. All right, but yeah, man, that's it's just crazy within itself that they're able to, garner this type of information and sell it to the higher bidder. Why can't we do that? Why can't we sell off our information? All these companies are doing this. Why don't why don't they have a website or something so we can sell off our own information willingly and get promoted? Because if we want to buy brands or we interested in certain things, with them already having a website, we can apply for that. It should be better like that for us, because then we can have the advantage of all this stuff, because we can determine who we want advertisement from and not. And they give you more money to do a group of companies, whether you like them or not, to get that advertising ball rolling. So I mean, honestly, that should be a thing.
All right, am I
You back?
back?
Your mic good?
Yeah, we good. My apologies about that.
Man, you got one
Appreciate
of them
the
days,
pull up, man.
man.
Thank
You done went home and everything done went around crazy for you.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting
You might have to
it.
switch over to the cell phone, man. You up north, that laptop ain't been that cold like that. It can't take
Hey,
it.
it took me like 2, 3 hours to even boot up when I got up here, man. My sister shit. Like you said, it ain't ready for this northern weather, I guess.
Now, I see you wasn't muted.
Yeah. It froze up on me, man. It's crazy.
Yeah,
It's
that
been
just
tripping
that the
ever
thing
since.
with me, man. Like looking at that scenario and that situation, if they're able to get that money, like what are they gonna do with it? I don't want to hear
Yeah,
no billing, no part. I don't want to hear putting money into the school system, because if a person that don't have kids, how is that benefiting them? For one, it can stop these kids from being the next, next gangster or whatever they so called say our youth is. But to a degree, that helps on one end. But on the other end, if I don't have kids and I don't want to, put my money into the school system, how's that benefiting me? And I don't have kids. That's what it's. And once again, that's where the state comes into play. You pay taxes to the state. The state handles that money that get delegated to the kids and stuff. They have the state program where you pay your property tax, for your kids.
yeah.
So
That's
once
that.
again, it's like what they gonna do with the money. And the reason why I think they keep it on the wraps and not even really put it out in the public eye, because you got to look at it. People are gonna question where is that money going. And most of these politicians, sneaky as they is, they first thing they gonna pull a Creflo Dollar. They might end up going and buy a platinum jet.
$65 million
But
platinum
that
jet.
comes down to that part right there. And seeing that the states always have like money set aside and delegated for things. Yeah, that was one of the biggest things about um 9/11. That secret room that had what $23 trillion. All the
Hmm.
documents, what happened to that money was in that one room. And that was, I ain't gonna speak on that too much more, but that's a conspiracy within itself. Like money just simply disappears or goes away, and mainly if it's for the people, we don't know where it went.
Yeah,
The
that is.
states are getting all this money. What are they gonna be doing with that money?
And
Like
it
I
was.
said, I don't want to hear nothing about building nothing for the city, because even though I live in the city, hey, give us tax breaks for the next 3 4 years. You calculate how many people live in that state according to how much money they got. They can give everybody a stimulus check. I mean, the thing is, you're going to be taxing it, one, and two is going to spend in your state. So that's more money going into the state. Why don't they give a stimulus check? Each one of those checks need to be a stimulus per state for the people that stay in that state. Whether it be $300 or whatever, they get that $300. That's good enough to go buy some groceries, shop, or whatever, and it's gone. Divided by how much money you got, by how many people in the state that pay taxes. See, that goes to counter for the people that don't pay taxes. You don't get the money. That's how that game works. With the They did with the stimulus check. They did that the same narrative. People who don't do their taxes didn't get the first of some stimulus check, and a lot of people started going back and trying to do their taxes so they can get the other stimulus check.
But wouldn't that be because
That should
everybody
be
uses
a
the internet?
thing
So it
versus
ain't like
just
it
giving
ain't
it to
like
the state and then we giving them free range to do what they want, what's in the best interest of us. If the state was doing the best interest of us, we'll have free health care. That should have been something that was been pushed. I don't understand how a country like Canada can do it, but the country like America can't. If they want to say it's a small country or not, not being pushed by the medical. Cause all that advertising, man, that's big business. You look at the Super Bowl. Look how many advertisements going to the Super Bowl. How do you think they garner most of those advertisements? They pushing for the big brands to get pushed, and the consumers. If you Pepsi, you're gonna push for the Super Bowl and trying to get them. But the thing of it is, you can pay a little less, or you can pay to a degree because you already know your target market. You don't have to come in and give uh $5 million for a Super Bowl commercial when you can give $2 million to Google, and Google send you all the information for everybody in that state, cell phone records on how they travel and how they do business. You got some of the people go by the same billboards, so many billboards throughout the week. They can hit that target and just go buy that billboard, advertise for this one particular area, and they revenue just in that area going down that street. They can clock the numbers and make them be about, let's say $1 million every week. You can have $1 million every week coming from that just because, in this particular area, certain people go by this billboard and your store is right down the street. Let's say it's a clothing store. Well, let's say it's a furniture store. You might don't even want to go buy no furniture, but you always seeing these nice billboards and you're already in the area, then there's traffic and they have a smart sign that's saying, why wait? You know, Traffic got you in a jam, come walk around, shop around, and let time pass by. There you go.
so you saying we
Like I
should
say,
just
marketing
sell our
don't know a little
information?
bit. You
What you
back,
think
man?
we should,
Yeah, you still, yeah,
can you hear
I
me?
think it's your
Can you
mic,
hear me?
man. You might gotta tighten up your mic.
Let me see what's going on with the mic.
Might have to go old school, man. Go get you some headphones and plug them into the computer.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, at first I thought it was my phone, man. I thought you just couldn't hear me.
Can you hear me now? Hello?
But
One,
what we
two.
was talking about earlier too, without besides the Google thing, you know, even with say with Thanksgiving, you up there with your family. That's what I was saying, putting in the chat earlier that I'm not doing the traditional Thanksgiving. I'm
Mm.
doing
Can you hear me,
seafood.
Steve?
We done did it. This is probably our third time doing it. Me and my wife, which we've been together.
She.
It's about our third time, doing like seafood. Like maybe I think one or two Christmas we did barbecue. Like we did everything grill in the winter. We was talking about that cook off before, me, you, and Kane, to get that cook off going, man. Everybody throw them
She.
cooking skills to action.
She. Can you hear me?
But yeah, man, that's a thing. And just like you said about your boy, he might got some truth to that because if they able to sell off our information like that, because look what they doing to Yay at the flip of a switch. All your stuff is gone. You know,
She. Can you hear me
even
now?
that crazy part with oh boy,
She. Can you hear me?
Andrew Tate. I was looking at a clip on him, He
She
said it got so bad with him when they took his money,
also he can't hear me, and I
and
can't
started
hear
trying to cut him
him.
off from social
Yeah.
media. They cut him off from Uber. The guy said he went to go get an Uber, and his Uber account is cut off.
Like,
And
why
I think
can't
Ye
you?
just said his Apple Pay is cut off. So it's like, if they able to track you like that, they able
This
to do a
dude,
lot of crazy stuff. You
this
know,
shit. No,
for them
let
to
me see.
start cutting off your payment skills and clipping you from different apps and all this stuff with Google is able to control. And most of all the phones are ran by Google with the apps. You got even Apple. People have Apple phones and they end up using Google apps. They downloaded Google Play stores on their phone. I don't know if it's because I don't use Apple like that. I don't know if it's all the way like that to where you have strictly Apple apps or everything is switched over to Google now. Because I know a couple of people they mostly use like Google Maps. They don't use the I want to say I think Safari is the internet for them, but I don't. They don't even use the map on Apple as much from what I hear about people. Everybody try to use Google, so hey, and they able to get into that much detail because like you were saying earlier about the article about them being able to, if you cut it off that you don't want to be tracked, they can track you through another app because that's most of the people who use social media sites, Facebook and Instagram. I think with Instagram is different, but I know with Instagram they always ask me to turn on my location. Facebook, the moment I sign in from a new phone, is automatically on. I got to go in there and turn it off. So it's like an automatic default to the point where it's automatically turned on. Even with some of these apps, when you go into the app and download it, they automatically asking you to provide them with locations automatically. Same thing applies to with what is the Weather Channel. They ask you for it, but once you're in there, they got you. They can go through the Weather Channel. Weather Channel's owned by Byron Allen. You know, we don't know something simple as the Weather Channel is pushing off our information too.
Oh,
Every
I'm sure
app
he can't
has
really
that
hear me.
disclaimer in there, but whoever read the terms, nobody really ever read the terms. They actually did a study showing that it takes people about 3 seconds to hit that accept button.
Hell yeah, we don't read that terms of
When it
quick.
comes down to it, because if you want to get on the app, you're not reading the terms of agreement. They actually went on Joe Rogan. I was over there at his podcast looking at it. They actually went through the terms of agreement about TikTok.
Oh yeah, TikTok's
They
the
posted
devil.
in there that they sell out your stuff, they track you, they push your information, they go through your apps, they go through your
Location, your
the
history,
websites that
all
you go
your
on from Google. They go through all that. It's like in the terms of agreement. And most
every
people they
single
just
app.
click OK and accept. They don't look at the terms. And then the bad thing is, like I say, I found that on YouTube. You can literally go on YouTube and there are channels that actually not stretch of things. So that's one way of doing it. Even with a new product, when
Chief,
phones come in,
Chief, you heard me?
went into the phone, messed around with it, and then I would turn around and go
Yeah.
straight to YouTube and look at the
Look
what's it
at
called, quick tricks or something like that to get you involved in your phone to kind of let you know what's going on. And so with that, who knows? When you're looking in those terms, they might be able to tell you how to turn things off and how to make it permanent. You know, because to a degree, that's why most people use VPNs when they dealing with different sites and stuff, not to be tracked. And even with the VPNs, it can be broken down, but it takes the time. And with those VPNs, a lot of people using VPNs, it kind of cuts down on that. But hey, it's still, like I said, it takes time if you have a VPN for somebody that's really know how to hack and know what they're doing to, break into that and see what's going on.
1, 2, she. It almost seemed like you could hear me. She, can you hear me? That's so crazy
Yeah,
and stuff. She, you can't hear me. Look at the chat, She. Look at the chat.
yeah, because the biggest thing about that, like I keep going back to, is the money aspect. If they actually go forth and look at the money, how's
You
the
can't
money
hear
gonna be spent? You know, I'm with you on that. I'd rather
me.
my money be in my hand. It could be in the form of a check. It can be in the form of taxes. Hey, cut taxes. A lot of states have state tax, and the killers that are doing when we doing our taxes. So
Yeah, you
let's try to figure that.
about that, man. It seems like we should be getting some money off of him, though. I don't know how much money, but it seems like we should be getting something. I know he
I'm
can't
looking
really
at
hear.
it mainly as a way to benefit us, because if they're taking the money, they're getting the money from our cell phones, are doing a little background noise. I'm at work, but what's the benefit for us if the state get the money?
Yeah, they ain't
You
gonna do
know,
nothing but spend it on themselves. That's the unfortunate part about that. They gonna spend it on themselves and
yeah, I might
not.
have to go mute for a little bit. I got this.
Okay, so I think she went on mute. Maybe he can hear me. We can hear. I can hear you, but it seems like you can't hear me in the back chat or nothing either. Uh-oh, he might be.
Yeah, I definitely can't hear you.
Okay, but yeah, we. But
It
I definitely.
got to be the mic or something.
That's
Um,
crazy.
I don't know if you can try to get your phone and see if you can hit the link from your phone and go from there. And you might have to just keep the live up like that.
It's
I
crazy,
try
man.
using another laptop and see if that works. Just go to YouTube instead of logging in with your password. Go into YouTube and put yourself like a guest and accept yourself, and then just come in and talk up on another one like that. Because right now, can't even hear you.
Let me
Yeah, I was
see.
going back and forth looking at the chat. If you trying to figure out what's going on, I see your mic is open, but even your picture's gone. Yeah, yeah. Your
Those,
picture was your picture's
let me see if I can freak it this way.
going on. Everybody coming in the chat.
Can you hear me now, She? Let's see. Hold on. We're gonna try something real quick. No speaker. Okay. Give me 1 sec. Go ahead, She. Let's see if I can get She to be.
Yeah, but okay, I see your pictures back up, but your
I
mic
wonder.
not came back yet.
How do I add She? Damn it.
Let me jump over here. Look at this real.
She. Okay. Damn it, man. My apologies about this, y'all. But my internet has been. Well, it's not my internet, but it could be my laptop. It could be the internet. It could be a lot of factors. But the last time I didn't.
Yeah, but like I
But
said,
my
dealing
sister.
with that.
My
Yeah,
sister.
that's gonna be a trouble right there. Trying to figure out what the state gonna do with your money,
Yeah, that is crazy.
because there's a
That is.
lot of times the state hold on to money. Um, actually, I just found out something that a lot of people don't know, and people actually make money off of this too. The state will fool around. I don't know if it's. I think it might be just the banks. I don't know if it's actually through the state, but I think it's the banks. But they will end up, if you get a foreclose on your house, the I think the bank pays the taxes on that, and all the money that you've been paying into that house, once it gets foreclosed, you're supposed to be entitled to a percentage of that money, because they're just going to go and sell that house off. So I've been doing my
Mm,
research looking into that. So people who've gotten foreclosed on the house, it's not public, more or less not privy to people. And if you don't know what you're talking about, the bank's definitely not going to give you the information, because they don't want this stuff getting out. But you can actually get that money from the house, even if you got foreclosed on it. You got to have certain
that's
documents and stuff. They have groups online that have it, but of course they get a cut. They have those what is it called? Unclaimed money, unclaimed property sites. What they do, they charge you a fee, but then they'll go and get the information and bring it back to you. I went on one site, and I actually found a rebate to where I had, I think it was like $80 on a Hewlett Packard computer I bought for Christmas one year for the kids, and it came with a rebate in the mail. So I mailed the rebate off, but I think I moved before they sent the rebate. So same thing as that, these states be holding on to that money, and hey, you just got to do your research on.
cheap. Who is this? What's up, man? What you want? About
Like I
she.
say, that's a big thing. You still ain't got it figured out.
You can't hear me, she.
Yeah, but that's the big thing when it comes to like the money, as far as
You hear
dealing
me?
with the state. As long as
Hey,
the state
she.
got their hand in it, they going to do things a certain type of way and their way, all for their profit gain.
Hey, she. Hold on a second. Cyber, you can still hear me?
So it's best for you to actually, look more into that and get an understanding on, how you stand with it. Because guarantee that the state, like I say, they take that money. It's more or less 9 times out of 10, it's not going to be within the best interest that what you like. It's more for their pockets and how they feel and which they like. You know?
Hey, she. If you can hear me, man, drop off and drop on. I
And,
mean, can come back
and
up
that's
real
the
quick.
thing
Maybe
with the people, that's where it comes down from. We the people. If we try to get
she. Can, yeah, I don't think he. She. If you would, man, drop off and drop back on, cause dude up on the panel, he can hear me. Maybe he did hear me. What's going on, Psycho? Hold on. If I add you to the panel. I mean, not Psycho. I'm sorry. Cyber, my fault.
Psychopaths level now.
Black man, so why shouldn't you be?
That's well, I'm I'm
started
you
off the
don't understand
lawsuit,
the work
they
that I
get the
put
big
in to
they
become
get
the
the
ultimate.
big chunk, then the water trickles down to
I think.
everybody else. I think I got a letter from something. No, I
She.
think it was my wife or somebody with T-Mobile.
I
She gave me
still don't think
like, I
he can hear
think it
you.
was
He can't
25 or
hear that.
$35 or something like that. Even with was it
He
Bank
might
of
be
America?
preoccupied.
I see we got
She.
somebody else up.
Yeah, yes. I wonder. Can you
That's
ask him if
you.
he can?
He probably can hear you, but he probably like so preoccupied that he ain't really.
He can't. He can't hear me on the
I can't hear
background or
you.
in it. Yeah, see, he can't. See if he can hear you, Cyber.
She, what's up? No,
I don't think it's my mic. Let me check over here.
Hey,
no.
she just do me a favor, drop down and then come back on real quick. Let's see if that's it.
Why don't you just send him a message in the chat so he might
I,
see that
I,
pop right
I
up?
tried. I
Mm.
tried.
But anyway, while he doing that, yeah, nah, bro, you don't know how to work. You don't know the work it takes to get put in to become like infamous on this shit.
Because when
To
I went
become
and
like
listened to the
infamous.
play, I heard you say something about when I was talking about TikTok. So it might be
Okay.
the settings on my headset or something. But
Can you hear?
I'm gonna go ahead and probably mute for a minute and see if I can do that. And then if you
Yeah.
go ahead and you start talking and stuff, I'm gonna see if I can hear you. I'm gonna go back over to the YouTube and see can I hear you talk.
All right.
Cause
Check for the
I
message.
ain't did nothing with the settings. I just grabbed I just hit the link. So it might be some settings that I gotta do with my headset. I see my mic is working though.
Yeah, it might be the headsets because we can hear you. It just seems like you can't hear us. But check the message. Just drop off and try and come back on because I got somebody else on the panel and they can hear. We can hear each other. But go ahead, Cyber. He said he gonna mute up. Go ahead.
Now I
Now
was
you
just
want
saying,
to add to the discussion about YouTube tracking our location? Go ahead.
YouTube is tracking.
It's- I thought you said you wanted to join the discussion, man.
Yeah.
That's what the discussion is about.
So give me, just a synopsis. I heard that you was on from I got a hater that wants to be like me every day. So
So you come in
he actually
talk about
mentioned that you
the
was on, and he was saying YouTube was tracking. So I said, let me jump over here to the Cook's channel to see what's going on. So you said YouTube is tracking. Like, what do you mean? Like location tracking in the
Yeah,
app?
yeah. Even when you turn it off, they track it through other means, other apps, like your web activity. So let's say you go to Costco's and you're looking at a vacuum, and then miraculously a vacuum cleaner ad start appearing on your social media. That type of joint. I'm sure it's happened to you.
Yeah.
So they just settled like a $390 million lawsuit for like 40 states
Yeah.
about tracking.
Yeah. I would say as a cyber person whose name is Cyber, by the way, I would say, you know, while that's true, I think people have to, and it's not easy by no means, so I don't put any blame on them. I think people have to be cognizant of the different ways that you can avoid that type of thing. I'll be honest to you. Out of all the Google services that I use, I mean, because in America, we don't really have a choice. I mean, they have the best services, but unfortunately, with them having the best services, comes they want to know something about you a lot so that they can make money off of it. I don't use the Google search app on my phone signed in by any means. Um, and even when I was making, I was automating like up to like 1,000 accounts. I had to make sure that they didn't automatically sign into the browser when I would go attacking people, or not attacking people, but defending myself. Didn't attack anybody, but things like that. I don't think people are mindful that there are certain actions or certain things you can do when you're looking at your Google search, or even if you open your phone. Um, Google search will automatically sign you in, and if you don't pay attention to it, what the engineers at Google did, upon my discovery, what I found out, what they did was they made it more difficult for you to know that Google has automatically signed you in to the browser, so that like if you do one of those actions before, you can see like, oh shit, I'm signed in. I don't want to be signed in. Well, they made a slicker way of hiding that from you, so you are not aware that you're signed in, number one. And number two, depending on your mobile device. Again, just the Google search app, because that's how they really get you. It's easy to see if you're in Google Chrome, but in the Google search app, they make it very difficult for you to navigate how to toggle the setting to make sure there's a setting now. They changed it. And basically, what the setting is that you have to tell the Google search app, you have to toggle a setting that says you don't want Google to automatically log you in to the search app or to the browser when you do a certain type of action. So, like, you can open an email in Gmail for real. And because you open that mail in Gmail, or if you navigate out to a link, it'll automatically sign you in on the Google search app, which is like totally underhanded. So I can understand why they getting sued, because it's like, yo, you you're not telling people's up front that you're doing this, and you signing people in, and people are essentially being signed in. It's like unlocking your door, right? Every time that you go near your house, your door unlocks. Or anytime somebody mentions anything about, hey man, how's that house doing? I see you bought the new house. Or you put anything new in the house, your door unlocks. And you're not aware of that. So it's just like, yo, y'all being very underhanded, because they know that if you're not signed in
So,
to
so
Google,
you think it's all right for them to make money off of us, off of them tracking our locations and then selling it to advertisers?
if they get your permission, yes. If they don't have your permission, no. I don't. I'm not a proponent of that. Even as a cybersecurity professional, or expert, I'm not with that. I'm not.
No.
I'm not with that.
Now, wouldn't this
I
fall
don't
under
think
some
that's very
type of
ethical.
law initially at first? So why would they even set it up to be like that? I mean, I understand they want money, but
Hmm.
I'm saying, isn't there a law already saying if someone says no on one end, it means no on the other end?
True. There is the way that they get around that. Um, is terms of use of their products. So when you, and again,
You
this
can hear
is
it?
Yeah, I'm back now. I can hear y'all.
okay. Cool.
Okay,
Cool.
okay.
Yeah, cool. So the way that they get around it, like, I don't know your phone preference, right? Like, my phone preference was Android, or Note 10s, or the Note series, and now I'm on the iPhone 14. I mean iPhone 13. So um, I don't, because I know how Google is. I will never buy a Google Pixel. Like, that's Google's phone. So you got to think, like, how many people, and they probably got great services too, but how many people have a Google phone, like Google hardware, or a Chromebook, right, that they own? Um, and in those terms of services, you automatically agree. Like, I mean, they kind of do this shit with, really, it's kind of jacked up that I think about it. Now that you got me really thinking, because, in order to have an account on an Android, a LG or an iPhone, you got to have a what? You got to have a Google account. And as soon as you sign up for that Google account, you know, take take about 15 days to read through the terms of service, and you'll be surprised what you find. Like, a lot of people is not going to read that shit. That's just way too much. They make it verbose like that. But you agree to certain terms and conditions when you push the submit button to say, sign me up for that Google account. And that's where they get you, because in those terms and conditions, part of their terms of services and the way that their ecosystem operates is that, okay, well, you essentially are saying yes up front to us doing these things when you come into our ecosystem, only until you find a setting or find a feature that you don't agree with. Yeah, we provide a way for you to opt out of that, but you got to figure it out first. And if we should change it, it's up to you to find out what we changed, figure out how we changed it, and then extricate yourself from that. Get yourself out of that so that you're not subject to tracking or this or that. And the other thing is really market share. Google have so much of a market share everywhere that it's almost virtually impossible for you not to engage in something from a technology sense without them being a part of it. Like they got their hands literally in every cookie jar, everywhere,
Yeah,
and it's just like it's difficult. So that's how they get
yeah,
around that.
yeah. Because that's even
Um,
like what go
Go
ahead.
ahead, she. Go ahead. No,
Well, I
go
was
ahead,
gonna say
she.
that's like with the terms. Let's say you want to deny them from tracking you and looking at certain sites and stuff like that, or going through. Once you hit the Google Map, then you're backlogged in because why? You need Google Maps to pin your location to where you're going to another destination. So unless
Right.
you turn it off every single time, they're tracking you. Even with I know a guy on YouTube, he's in the military. He said once they go to certain locations, you have to take all the electronic devices off. The smartwatches, they they're not too big on the buds, but still like nothing. Like you had an iPad, you compromise that whole spot by having an iPad, some electronic, iPad or smartwatch or something. It has all those devices that have GPS trackers on there. They have to leave those items at a location, then go to another location so they won't be tracked. Because literally, the government, like far as the military, they already know most majority of the stuff that they're doing. And most of the people in the
Right.
military who are within those high rankings know at certain times they can't bring those phones around and do certain things. Even with these TVs, how many times have you ever talked about Chinese food and all of a sudden you start seeing commercials of pizza? You start seeing commercials about it. TVs, you got Google. I got Google hubs in my home. I got one in my kitchen. I got one in each of my boys'
Oh,
room.
whereas listening
I
is listening to everything is essentially picking up everything that you're doing. You are basically invited to me.
exactly.
Now I can tell you to what Sheed is talking. I can give you the technical understanding as to how they do it because TVs that aren't smart TVs can't do that. Just everybody with a flat screen TV, it can't do it. You can't talk to it. Now your phone may listen in at times for certain keywords, and they do that because really behind all of this it's the NSA. It's the NSA, and so they have certain keywords that they are listening out for that kind of zero them in. Like I don't know if anybody saw The Dark Knight Returns, right? I mean, The Dark Knight Rises, when he was trying to catch, was it Joker? No, it was when he was trying to catch Joker, and he built that big machine that had like all the TV monitors on it. You know what I'm saying? Um, and anytime the Joker would say something, it would zero in on his location. So that's the NSA has keywords set up so that if somebody says something over these telecommunication highways, they can pinpoint that location. But let's say if you have a smart TV that does listen to commands, well, if that smart TV is on and that smart TV is on the network, then there's
They
a
have a possibility
there's a
to
thing we
track.
call a listener module. You have to have a listener. And I mean, even software has a listener, like basic software that has nothing to do with Google. If you want to if you want software to be able to detect or do something, well, the software has a module called a listener that essentially listens for um, information or data so that it can do one thing or another. But when it comes to actual audio devices, the software makeup literally has tons of listeners that compile a large listener so that if you like Alexa, like it has a listener, like and Google devices The Google Hub has a listener, right?
Yep.
And let's say your devices don't have a listener, but it's just on the network. Well, how many people? Most people don't think about the fact that when you go home, you have your phone set up so that as soon as you get closer near your house, your Wi-Fi kicks on, so you don't burn through your, you're not burning data. So when you're close to home, your phone is always on your internet. It's never on like regular mobile because you want to save data until you go away from your home. Well, as soon as you get home, anything that you've been conversing, talking about, and your phone's been picking that information up, or you go to your TV and you go to certain channels, well, you just completing the circle because now your phone's on your network, that TV's on the network. You have a smart TV. Do you use YouTube Live? I do. Do you use Google something on your phone, on your TV? I do. And so you're right back in the you're right back in the ecosystem again. And now, you're talking to your TV. For those that have a listener on that TV, it's pulling information. And so you're really right back. You're right back in that same situation. Like you said, like you telling them no, and they're like, yeah, we know you told us no, but you're using this service and you didn't tell us no over here. So we're gonna do what it do. It's kind of jacked up, but it's by design though. It's by design. The only way to get away from it is to use a non-Google service across the board. And
So what you saying? Use DuckDuckGo?
well, that's minimal. That's just on a browsing level, right? Um, I can tell you a lot of sites won't work, or a lot of features won't work because everything eventually ties back into Google at some point. It's just a matter of when. And they have phones, like they have a phone, um, they have a ROM that you can put on your phone. I forget what it is. I look at it in the hacking forums. It's pretty dope. Graphene OS, that's what it's called. It's called Graphene OS. And then y'all listening who ain't no haters of Emperor Cyber, King Cyber, check out Graphene OS. Do a Reddit search on Graphene OS, and you'll see that they have it's basically an encrypted phone OS that's totally free of Google. And they have devices that you can put it on. It does require some technical insight to get it up and going, but it's pretty decent. And I think whoever those guys are that have been working on that, I think they have been working on the maps because um, they built a GPS module on there that does not utilize the Google positioning system. Google has a grid called Google Grid that has the whole world broken down into little squares, and every square has an address. That's how navigation works so flawlessly because of the Google Grid. Nobody really knows about it because you have to be like on a dev. You have to be a dev. Devs use it. Uber uses it. Everybody uses it, and they have a plugin and an API for it. But to get away from that, that's a little bit too technical. But Graphene OS is totally privacy based, but um, you know, you have to go to those types of links, and then that's open source. So if you don't, if there's not a lot of support for open source services, what happens when Google says, "Well, we're going to tighten up things because if they're not using service this or service that, they're not going to be able to hit this." Well, what happens when you're using these privacy-based services that are non-Google based, and um, you want to interact or engage with things that there's no API application plugin interface to work with. There's no way for you to connect to that. You have to be on Google shit, or you have to. I mean, you want to search at home every day and just have a dumb phone, I mean, so they know what they're doing. And by Google going to the phone companies, I can tell you with Samsung, you know, they have a foothold with Samsung. that Google is baked into the equation. So, Samsung
So
is
we
just taking
basically
along for the
fuck.
ride.
We basically fuck.
Yeah, I mean, until there's another solution other than Google, but I mean, then
Doesn't even Apple rely on Google?
to a degree. Now they have Apple Maps, but yeah, to a degree because you still need a
The
you
servers, right?
yeah, well you still need a Google account to use your. I mean, you got Apple, you got iCloud account, but I mean, how many people function just fine without a Gmail account? How many people function just fine, truly function just fine without using any Google service, Google Chrome, Google Search? Not too many people. And I mean, it's not that they couldn't if they didn't have an alternative. So now we got to start looking at who do you trust, right? Trust, confidentiality, integrity, um, accessibility. We call that the CIA triad in security. And each one, and privacy too. You have privacy, but each one of those, confidentiality, integrity, and accessibility, has its own tenets. And the question is, who do you trust to honor your confidentiality? Who else other than Google do you trust to maintain a standard of integrity? And who else did you trust other than Google with confidentiality, the principle of integrity intact, working together? Who do you trust to make services available to you or accessible to you? That's the A, who are going to abide by the first two, the C and the I, confidentiality and integrity of information and data. Who do you trust other than
So
Google to do?
let me ask you a question. Is there any way for us to like circumvent Google, like where we could just sell our information to the advertisers directly?
You would have to know how to do it, and you would have
Know how to
to,
do it?
huh?
Do you know how to do it? Do you know how to gather our information and then present it to a prospective buyer?
Yeah. It's so
So
see
I'm just saying,
Google.
why not do that? Because it seems like it's going to be inevitable that Google is going to take this information and use it. Why not cut off the middleman, especially if I'm the source? If I can gather, like we just tell people, look, we gonna gather your information, we gonna sell it to Google, but we gonna do it for a price.
Because it's the way that they present the data, and it's not just your information. It's so a lot of so that's a good question, and let me expound a little bit on it. So your information is either what we
Uh,
call
yeah,
PII, right?
uh,
Personally identifiable information, right? Or you have the other information, that's information that's relative to you, regarding that can have an impact on you, right? Um, so let's say, conscious moron, you have a first name, last name, gender, age, birth date, place where you live, maybe phone information, right? That's or you have attributes about you that are personally identifiable, right? Personally identifiable information. Um, that is of interest of certain people who want to provide or build their services based off your information, and then they go from there. Um, they go to other people with it for other things. So a lot of times, the information that gets sold to them, you never are on the receiving end of that transaction. That information is used and leveraged by someone else in multiple ways and shapes and forms. And it's circulated, you know. Um, but then you have, other information about you that's personal, but it's impactful. So that would be things such as your light bill, information about your light, your electricity bill, or your credit information, your banking information, your purchase information, right? Um, Things like that, financial transactions, medical information, right? Health information, health statistics, doctor's records, right? Um, and so that's a different form of information or data. While it's yours, it makes up you, along with that PII, that personally identifiable information. But these are characteristics because I have to protect all this, right? So these are data sets or data points that can take different forms. And um, depending on how an entity out there wants to use that information is how they'll go about putting that together or gathering that, and then they sell that off to whoever the interested buyers are for the interested reason, and they leverage that. So it's not that you can just go and sell, hey, I'm conscious moron, hey, you want my birthday, okay, it's gonna cost you something. No, it doesn't really work like that, because then part two is you have to understand, how does that data transition over to who the requester is, and what is the requester really looking for with that data? What are they going to do with it? Are they going to come knocking on your door? Are they going to come sending you emails or sending you, advertisements? Advertisements, um, with that information? Um, no, it's bigger than that. They will use your information, just for example, right? Like how it all ties together. They'll use your data to sell to somewhere else. A private company or entity will take those data points, and they'll compile them and into kind of an initiative that they want to set forth. But you aren't the end target that they want. They may want to sell certain products and or services, or do business with a third party, or a data owner who might be the entities that interact with you when you do a transaction and your data is left behind. So they're not necessarily interested in you. Cat, if you don't stop playing with that goddamn food.
So you saying there's no way for us to just sell our information?
No, it's not, because the way that they make it seem, they do it on purpose. They do it on purpose to obscure how it's all done, because it's not just you taking your information over to the insurance company saying, hey, look, I know you want some information about me, throw me a couple dollars. No, it don't work that way. They use your they use they use your information they use your information to go to someone else other than you, that is of a benefit to the insurance company.
Insurance company.
Yeah, like I'm just using the insurance company for example,
Okay.
because the insurance company has billions of dollars. So they will make a proposition or offering to the insurance company, for the insurance company to buy a product or service from them, the said entity, and it could be anything.
How
But
long does it take them to collect your data? Let's just say if they want to get a nice little profile on you, 3 6 months.
uh, maybe, it depends on what they're looking for and how much of it they want.
Just consume like your spending patterns. How long you think it would take for them to build up a profile?
Wouldn't take long. I would say 30 days they can get enough.
That's what I'm saying. Like we study somebody for 30 days, they the internet happens, then we sell it to the company, and then we give the said person a piece of what we sold.
Yeah, but you're forgetting the one. It sounds easy, I know it does,
No,
but
no. I mean, I don't know anything about this. That's why I'm asking. Like,
yeah, no, I'm just saying it. I'm not refuting you. I'm just saying it sounds it in a perfect world, if that's the way it worked, that would be great, but it just doesn't. You have to also understand the companies who are selling their services, the companies who are selling their services to other companies, leveraging your information. You're not designed to be a part of the equation. You're an expense. If they got to pay you,
Yeah, but I'm saying if we got not just of course it's gonna have to be one more than one person. We're gonna have to get like a whole plethora of people. And then once we present it like, yo, we got this data research from all these people, yo, we gonna cut out the middleman. You don't need Google, you got us. And then we just cut the people whose data we collect and then
yeah. But again, it just
go at a gap or where I'm from
to
with the middle.
yeah. Well, I mean, again, to do that, I have to go back to something I said earlier. Is that when you transact out in the world, um, your data takes on certain forms. So it's not is you would have to meet that, like, let's say if it was you would have to meet the requirement of the data points that I want about you in such a way that I could assemble or utilize those data points in the way that I see fit. You might not necessarily be on board with me doing that, or you might not have the capability to understand the complex requirements of what I'm doing with your data. You know what I'm saying? One second.
And if you are just joining us, I appreciate the pull up. We are talking about the YouTube case that they had to settle with 40 states for $391 million. They were tracking our locations even when you opted out to have your location tracked.
Yeah,
They
sorry about
paid.
that.
No, no, go ahead. Go.
So yeah, that's how you would do that.
Hmm.
So it just your data takes on different shapes and forms. Once it leaves you and it resides in other places and locations, and that's how they that's how they operate and how they keep shit going and moving. Your data will always change forms. It always changes over time.
So, how do you get more young black men into computers? Because you kind of come from the other side of the track, Cyber. How did you cross over?
Um, what you mean?
I'm saying, didn't you used to be a thug almost in a sense?
I sold drugs and shit, but I was the hustler who always
So, how did you transition into becoming a computer expert?
I was I well I never closed my books. I was the hustler who always kept his books open. I was the kid who straddled the fence, but I always kept the book open. I always found time to get away, and when I went away, everybody goes to their spot, to what they do when they by themselves. So when I was by myself, computer was always right there. Piece of electronics was always right there. A book was always right there, you know. And so I always just kept honing, kept, just like when you box, you do it since you little as a kid, most people. You just keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. So I always just kept trying to solve problems. And I was always scientifically curious, scientifically interested, and scientifically inclined. And I stayed curious. So if you curious all the time, you always want to know what shit is. That means you always trying to figure it out or trying to solve the problem, trying to solve some problem to know something. And that's what I did. So the more I, built the computer, and then after I built the computer would catch a virus or it break. So okay, I need to figure out how to fix it, and then I need
So,
to
this
find
is
out.
all self taught. You ain't go to any institution.
Yeah, I went to school. Yeah, I went to school. Of course, I went to school, but just by myself. I told myself like, well, I need to find out why did that happen? Where did the virus come from? Why did that virus come? Is there any more type of viruses, and why? Like, what's the reason? What is the reason? And so I went and sought that information, and now, okay, now we're dealing with networks, and okay, is this, which networks is my favorite part of computer science. I hate networking, to be honest. I can't stand it, but it's just too much. Um, but then you get to applications and functions, and then you get to understanding how you know, you start getting into the architecture and stuff like that. You just start to learn, the same way that a master, architect or house or home builder does their work, where they understand like all the things about masonry and how to cut a brick and what type of rock is even when you cut it, and what type of rock is not even, and what do you have to do to make it even, or how do you um how do you properly build a wall that won't just fall over when the wind blows. The wall actually moves a little, whatever shit like that. Like, it's the same way. It's just you just doing it with computer science, with technology, and you go and you submit yourself to the understanding, and then but you also ask questions too, and some of the questions you can't find in the book. Some of the questions you have to just experiment on your own, and you discover the information. And that's what I did. So I just kept doing it, kept doing it, kept doing it. You get jobs that give you experience and information, and in those jobs you encounter scenarios that are not in anything that you learn from any class, course, university, or book. It's situational, and but you use some of the principles along with some outside of the box thinking to respond to that situation. And from that comes a new lesson, comes a new discovery, comes a new piece of experience under your belt. And so I would say, it wouldn't be how to get more people into the field. I, I, I'm pretty stern on that. If they're not interested, it's not going to do them any good. It'll just be a job to them. They have to be. You got to want to be here. You have to want to be over here. Yeah, we make a lot of money, but I mean, with that comes a lot of. You got to be experienced, and you got to be willing to put in the time. Everybody can't go from help desk to engineer in a day or in a year. You put in the work, you can do it. But you got everybody else out there who's just as smart, just as creative as well. So you got to be. They would need to be exposed to situations that give them a set of wings. And they have to like. You got to want to wake up doing this. You got to want to not go to sleep doing this. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was girlfriends, it was women that I lost over the years. I had problems with. You too much into your technology. Well,
Oh I'm back. My fault. I was muting and shit talking. My bad. Damn, what was I saying? I was gonna say. So you basically had a passion for it, and it just passion just
yeah,
built out of that.
yep.
Okay, okay. I mean, I
Just
think that's
science,
kind
just
of
science in general. You know, space is my number one love.
space.
Yeah.
No, so you're not a flat earther. I would assume you to be a flat earther.
Nah.
Hey, you said you from Ohio. What part of Ohio you from, man? Northeast, west,
Northeast.
northeast. What? Youngstown area, Akron area?
No.
No.
I'm from
Okay.
Little.
Give me a vicinity, cause you know I'm from Ohio too.
Yeah, I know you are. I can't do that.
What you mean you can't do that? You ashamed to tell me where you from?
I don't know. I can pull through Ohio at any time, but
Yeah. So what's the biggie?
anywhere in Ohio, I'm good. But no,
Okay. So what's the biggie?
Cyber Supreme is a little infamous. People
I'm
would
just
love.
curious. That's what I'm saying. Just give me a reason. You don't have
Um,
to give me the exact
let me
city.
see. I'm from
Kind of give me a city that you're close to,
Nah,
or
I'm gonna give you a location just off the top of my head. I'm gonna just tell you I'm from out in um I'm from Reynoldsburg. There you go.
Reynoldsburg.
Yeah,
Reynoldsburg. I'm not too
yeah,
familiar, and that's in the Northeast.
yeah. It's north.
Reynoldsburg.
Yeah, from Reynoldsburg, the Reynoldsburg area.
Not
OS,
heard
OSU. But anyway,
Reynoldsburg. I'm gonna have to look that one up. That's really small. So is that by what Ashtabula?
it's Columbus, sir.
Oh, that's not north. That's mid Ohio, man.
It's northeast, sir.
Nah, man.
Compared
Northeast
to
would
the
be
United
like
States, sir, it's still
Youngstown.
northeast.
Northeast would be Youngstown. You know what I'm saying? Lodi, shit like that.
Trash up there, sir. No, I'm not from that part of garbage. You know, the penitentiary, the people where they lock people away forever is in
It's
Youngstown.
penitentiary in Columbus, near Columbus.
Yes, you
Lordstown.
know, where they lock you up and throw away the
It's
key.
in the Columbus ain't that really good either. They call it the bus. I know.
Nah,
Columbus, this is dangerous. If not the dangerous, most dangerous city. Well, no, Cincinnati. That'd be Cincinnati.
yeah,
But Columbus ain't no chump ass city.
no, of course not. Cyrus Supreme ain't no chump. How you think?
Well, I'm sure that's your opinion of yourself. But
Yeah,
why would you think you a chump?
and that's other people who hate on me.
I think it's because of how you act, man.
Oh,
You're a
you
little
want to know
pompous.
the true genesis of
What's
Cyrus
the
Supreme's
beginning?
hate? Hmm?
What's the beginning of it? Where did it all come from? Where did it? Because that's what Genesis mean, right? The beginning.
Yes. So the
Where did it come?
genesis, the true genesis, really began when I appeared out of nowhere to challenge Taz exclusives and Cynthia G many years ago. And unlike other people who could not truly approach them in disagreement with some of the crap that they was putting out, I was able to do it. And I was willing to do it. And I came just out of no, I literally came out of nowhere one day after listening to Black YouTube and said, what the hell is this? This was long before the O'Shea Duke Jackson rumbles and all that shit. I came out of nowhere. Poof. I was living in Queens at the time, actually. And you know, I challenged Cynthia G and Taz exclusives on some of the crazy stuff that they were saying. I was like, this is insane. But I challenged them on it, and I stayed on their ass. And people was like, damn, dude is tearing their asses up. Well, of course, you know, their goal is and was to sell a certain, you know, whatever to their subscribers. So of course, you know, that's when you get censored and stuff like that.
So
But
you doing all this because you challenged Cynthia and Taz to a
I
discussion?
that is the genesis and the origination of cyber. And so throughout time, obviously there were other people who would pop up, other entities, other, you know, names or beings or whoever. And it was like, oh yeah, that cyber dude. I can't believe he did this. So me being who I am, hey, here I am. I heard you had a problem. What's going on? You disagree with something I did? Well, yeah, I disagree with this. Oh, well, that's unfortunate. Why do you disagree with that? This, you know, I'm acting in the best interest of truth. Well, of course, they didn't want to be very truthful, so they didn't want to talk to me. So they would, you know, kick me off or run away, stuff like that. And so as we got down to where I'm more known, you know, around Bomb Cherry's crew and all that stuff like that. Well, I mean, we kind of already kind of understand, just not focusing on her, but just focusing on the aspects of what made me become infamous was that um, my reluctance to allow them to create a false narrative and let them furthermore run with that false narrative. I would be on BMT's channel. We would talk political stuff all the time. Um, I came through. I was with the Black Brain Trust for quite some time before they turned, you know, they started doing favoritism type stuff. Like if I ain't this person's homie like this and this facet, like they don't want to, they're giving preference to the homies without reason or cause. And I'm like, yo, I'm calling this shit out. We used to have offline talks, literally like personal phone conversations about how they felt I would react. And I was like, yo, this is the deal. Like, check this out. I respect the Black Brain Trust. And they was like, we feel that you're not abiding by what the Black Brain Trust stands for. We on meetings outside of YouTube. This was wild. And I would say, listen, we all getting money. Make no mistake, we're all intelligent Black guys. But I said, y'all need to tell me right here and now, because this is why I'm attracted to your channel, because this is one of the few places in YouTube where we literally talk about business, technology, and there's no fuckery going on. I'm attracted to that because that's the life that I actually live. This is my life. This is what I do every day. I'm getting it, in the real world. But I said, if being a part of you all means that I have to abide by some system or some, pseudo caste system of favoritism amongst the group, I said, that's not what I'm here for, bro. You got your you gentlemen have your credentials just like I got my credentials, and I got my credentials just like you got yours. So we all can say that, yeah, we, in terms of Black folks in the community as a whole, yeah, we're doing relatively well. We're making well over six figures. This was before Kevin Samuels. Kevin Samuels, not to deviate off him, but the only reason the whole six-figure conversation came into play because Kevin Samuels said something about that shit. So we were talking Kevin Samuels long before. I'm sorry. We were discussing six figures and up long before Kevin Samuels hit his stride. That's just for the record. Rest in peace to him. But I mean, nobody cared about it until he said something about it. You know, and so, and this was like 2 years before the Kevin Samuels got on the map for real. Like, this was nothing. He was nothing. So I'm just saying, like, I used to have those conversations with the Black Brain Trust, and it was like, okay, well, I guess you're not part of the Black Brain Trust because you react in this way or the other way. And it's just like, okay, that's cool. And I had to, yeah, I had to make it known that the Black Brain Trust, me being in the Black Brain Trust, didn't mean that, like, oh, so if I go over to like to Conscious Morons panel and they're having a certain type of disagreement or something like that, um, I respect a lot of the guys at Black Brain Trust. We just didn't see eye to eye. But that would be, it was like I had to abide by some type of decorum if I come to RBR's channel or a chat, or if I come to your channel or chat, because I would participate in the Black Brain Trust, and they had like no formal set of rules or regulations or nothing like that. So it was like, okay, I have to like abide by this unofficial decorum of sorts, and it was just ridiculous at the same
Oh,
time.
so that turned you bad to everybody on the internet dealing with the Black Brain Trust. Because I mean, you've been known to go at women and kids and all that.
Absolutely
That
not. Absolutely not. No, that just made me kind of,
I'm trying to get the origin story. What's
yeah,
the origin?
yeah,
What
I'm
turned
giving
you
it.
bad?
I'm giving it to you. So that it made me kind of sad because it was like, okay, it kind of opened me up to how this whole thing works. Like, oh well, if you're cool with such and such, and them are cool with you, and they're cool with them, then there's like a level of social, you know how it is, man. There's like a level of social acceptability with you speaking your
No,
mind.
man. Until I got on YouTube, I didn't realize how many black men were this awkward.
Yeah, yeah,
You
it's
know what I mean?
crazy.
Like, it's a
Right.
lot of
It's
awkward black
it's
men on here.
yes, it's very a lot. And don't it's like it,
But I'm saying some people would put you in that frame, just how you talk and come off a little bit.
nah,
It's a
I
little
don't
bit
nah that
pompous.
nah, I don't agree with it because if we sit down like we're doing this one on one and we really put the fuckery to the side and I start talking to people and be like, okay, let's settle upon this precept here. Now
But
we're
doesn't
gonna
that
see
fall
now we're gonna see who we're gonna see what happens when the rubber really meets the road, and what
But
type
doesn't
of
that
person
fool
you're dealing with.
people too though? Okay, say me and you have a cool dialect right here. But then I invite you to a panel and you start wilding out like you do on RPRs. You know what I'm saying? It
Why
would,
would I do
and
that?
then those are going to be the first interpretations that those people have of you. And then I'm gonna be like, well, where the fuck this? Because the last time I talked to dude, he was cool, but I don't know
Let's
where this
analyze.
came from.
So let's analyze. So that's getting into the why, like the fire, right? Where does the flame come from? So I'll tell you where the flame comes from.
You see what I'm saying though?